Texas Longhorn quarterback Major Applewhite ignites the Longhorns offense, while Iowa State running back Darren Davis is the force behind the Cyclone surge this season. And in big dances, Applewhite has proven he
Jones lumbers into the end zone.
Well, for Darren Davis, he's already rushed for more than 1,000 yards this season and is the school's #2 all-time leading rusher behind his brother Troy. Two dynamic offenses battle next on the Dr. Pepper Big 12 game. Ranked Texas Longhorns getting set for the Iowa State Cyclones. And we take a look at the North Division standings. Kansas State on top, 4-0 in conference play. Nebraska 3-1, Colorado 3-1, Iowa State 1-3, but 4-3 overall. And in the South, Texas controls their own destiny, along with Texas Tech and Oklahoma. They have just one defeat in conference play. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Drew Goodman. Nobody's sitting taller in the saddle these days than the Texas Longhorns. 2 weeks ago, they knocked off our rival Oklahoma, and last week they came from behind and beat Nebraska for the 3rd consecutive time. But they better be emotionally ready today for a vastly improved Iowa State team, a team that's talking about a bowl game and legitimately only a couple of plays away from being 6-1. But let's start with Texas, Dave. They talk about great pass combinations. How about Major Applewhite to Kwame Cavill?
It's been outstanding. Major Applewhite, the total package. Very intelligent football player, student of the game, accurate. The anticipation of when, where, and how to throw the football is outstanding. 16 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. His main receiver, Kwame Cavill, 6'2", 205. You can't knock him off his route. I'll tell you what, he's so big and strong. 41-inch vertical. He catches the ball at the apex. You'll see Kwame today. He's the motion guy. He'll be in and out of the formations, running option routes. The biggest thing about Kwame, he loves to play the game of football.
That's right. In Iowa State's game plan, they don't want to see those guys play football. They want to play keep away, and they have the back to do it in Double D. Darren Davis, maybe the most complete back in college football.
Well, the Texas coaching staff feels he's the best cutback runner in all of college football. He's a great receiver out of the backfield. Pound for pound, he may be the best blocker that Iowa State has, but the biggest thing, he's touched the ball 824 times. He's only put it on the ground 3 times and only lost 1 of those. He has redefined ball security.
That's right. He'll have to work hard for his yards today because Texas has one of the best front fours in the entire country. Hodges Mitchell, the tailback for Texas, hopes to match Davis yard for yard, but he better look out for defensive end Reggie Hayward. The Longhorns and the Cyclones come on back to Ames with us. Big 12 football is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, this is the taste. By eFollett.com. Need college textbooks? Get out of line. By Sonic, America's Drive-In. By Southwestern Bell. Southwestern Bell, friendly neighborhood global. And by your local BMW centers, the ultimate driving machine. The Campanile Tower on the campus of Iowa State University in Ames. Time to check in with the 3rd member of our crew, Jim Knox. Knoxy?
Drew, Halloween weekend here at Iowa State, and these Cyclo fans are dressed and ready to go. Popeye, Superman of the bunch. Hey, they want to know about the Southwestern Bell Big 12 Player of the Week, and it is Josh Heupel, quarterback of Oklahoma, because last week against Texas A&M, Josh Heupel accounted for 6 touchdowns, 3 through the air, 3 on the ground. Josh Heupel, your Southwestern Bell Big 12 Player of the Week. And don't forget about the Southwestern Bell Homecoming Giveaway. All you have to do is dial 887-BIG-12-FUN for details. And don't forget to vote for the Southwestern Bell Big 12 Player of the Week. Just log on to Big12Sports.com. But up next, hey, we're going to all head inside to Jack Trice Stadium. It's the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Game of the Week. Texas against Iowa State. The kickoff is coming up.
Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. Texas and Iowa State ready. Iowa State will get the football. Texas deferred to the second half. Let's check in and get an update on the weather conditions from Jim Knox. Jim.
All right, Drew, weather will be a big factor today, especially the wind. 15-mile-an-hour gusts. It's blowing from the northwest, so weather and the wind a big factor in today's game.
Well, it used to be known, Jim, as Cyclone Stadium, aptly named.
Well, you know, know, Drew, there's many weather factors. When it's cold for both teams. When it's hot, it's warm for both teams. The wind only affects one team at a time. Texas, instead of taking the football, decided to have the wind in their favor. So that's how much of a factor Mac Brown thinks it is today.
J.J. Moses, he can really go. Chris Stockton kicks it in his direction, about 6 yards deep, and he won't get a chance to operate here. Sage Rosenfels is the quarterback for Iowa State. He's athletic, 6'4" and big, about 220 pounds. He'll run the option, and you better get a good hold of him because he's tough to bring down. We take a look at the offensive line, brought to you by Southwestern Bell Wireless. Bill Marsau is having an all-conference kind of season, the left tackle. Bruns at center returns. Beaudet at right tackle is a good player. But that offensive line has been banged up quite a bit this year. Ennis Haywood, the backup normally to Darren Davis, but they like his ability so much you'll see him at fullback quite a bit. And here's Darren Davis. He hesitates and gets 5 yards to the 25-yard line. The defensive front for Texas. What a defensive front it is. Humphrey and Woodard, great ends. Hampton and Rogers, as good as it gets. 305 for Hampton. Sean Rogers, maybe one of the best athletes on the team at 315 pounds. Good linebackers, D.D. Lewis in the middle. And a young secondary that has really played much better than they expected quickly this year. Lee Jackson, the strong safety, has had a very good year. Bandauer with a blitz coming. Deep shot, and it's over the head of everybody. 4 Longhorns covering 2 Iowa State players, so it'll be 3rd down and 5. Michael Brantley was the nearest Cyclone to the football, but it looked like Rosenfels just threw that away, Dave.
Well, a nice blitz pickup by Darren Davis. We talk about the fact that he's a great runner. Watch him pick up this linebacker blitz, though. In it comes Darren Davis, squares up to him right under the chin, knocks him to the ground. Darren Davis, he's like a cobra. He coils, uncoils, then recoils. He hits you right under the chin every single time. Pound for pound, the best blocker on the team.
He is amazing. 3rd and 5 delay, nowhere to go that time for Double D. Tackled almost immediately by Kendrick Turner, 31, a true freshman from Kimball, Texas.
Well, this is exactly what Texas wanted to have happen, a 3-and-out. Darren Davis with a little bit of a delay in the inside and nowhere to go. I mean, penetration, disruption at the line of scrimmage was the biggest problem. Woodard, the defensive ends in the backfield. You can't gain positive yards when the defense is 3 yards from your backfield. Mac Brown wanted a 1-2-3 and punt into the wind and get good field position. That's what he's probably going to get here.
Carl Gomez to kick. Courtney Garcia takes it on a hop at the 37, and he's chased down. Gomez barely got that one away. So Texas will get the football at the 37. And the quarterback for the Longhorns is sophomore Major Applewhite. Before he is done, he will own every Texas passing record. This year, 16 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions. He rarely makes an error. And this offensive line is enormous. They lost 4 starters from a year ago. Leonard Davis, folks, 6'6" or so, and 367 pounds. They average 327. Hodges Mitchell, he's got quick feet. Not the biggest guy in the world at 5'7", 190, but he's fun to watch. First down, Applewhite goes to the backside and has Mitchell for about 8 or 9 yards. He went through his entire progression there. It'll be 2nd and short. Take a look at the Southwestern Bell Wireless starters for Iowa State. Reggie Hayward is the best defensive player for the Cyclones. He'll get after the quarterback. James Elmore was a defensive end. They moved him to Sam linebacker this week, and Jeff Waters along with Dustin Avey have played well, the 2 safeties. Waters the leading tackler for the Cyclones. 2nd and short. Treville's in the slot to the near side. Applewhite with a blitz coming, and he's got to complete to Nunez, but you know what, he's going to lose a couple of yards on the reception. Tackled immediately by Atif Austin.
Well, on first down, Texas did a great job of gaining positive yards, and they were more than on schedule. Second down, though, Iowa State does a pretty good job. Now, this is a called rollout. Brcka's blitzing inside. They try to change the launch point. Major Applewhite on the perimeter, but Nunez is absolutely covered like a blanket out there. Nice job by Austin.
Third down and 4. Throw it in the flat. This will be a first down. Mitchell crosses midfield to the 46-yard line. Second catch for Hodges Mitchell. Atif Austin again involved in the tackle.
Iowa State almost jumped offside. Major Applewhite went on a hard count on a long count. They're staying in, getting out of the neutral zone for sure. Nice little adept touch on that pass by Major Applewhite. If he threw a rope there, Hayward would have knocked it to the turf. But a little bit of air under it. Nice little feathery touch. Check down to his back out of the backfield.
Mitchell trying to cut back. He breaks one tackle and ends up picking up positive yardage.
The tackle that he broke was Hayward in the backfield. The big defensive end, and Hodges Mitchell froze him. And then got his motor restarted before Haywood could restart his. Hodges Mitchell, the coaching staff felt the first 3 games of the season was trying to run the ball like Ricky Williams, and he's nowhere near the size of Ricky Williams. They said, start using your vision a little better, you're going to lose your job. And he has responded.
Yeah, he's closing in on a 1,000-yard season. Quick throw to Nunez on a screen. Brcka grabs him and twists him to the ground. A couple of yards on the reception for Ryan Nunez. And Brcka, who had 18 tackles last week, already has a couple today.
You know, this Texas offensive line for Brcka and company is something to deal with. They average 327 pounds a man. Of course, big Leonard right there, number 70, Leonard Davis, 365 pounds. Tell you what, and that's a good-looking 365 now. He's proportioned. That is just a dinosaur out there.
Third and 2, Mitchell trying to find room. He won't get close. It'll be fourth down and at least 2. He might have lost a half a yard. Iowa State responds as they try to run behind Corey Quay and Antoine Kirk-Hughes.
Nice job by Iowa State taking on that big line and not getting knocked backwards. Now Texas deciding to go for a long field goal. This will be of 55 yards with the wind at his back. That's why Mac Brown wanted the wind to start the game.
The wind swirls here at Jack Trice Stadium. Stockton, one of the better kickers in the country. He's kicked 3 in his career beyond 50. From 55.
No, he pushed it right.
And it's a little bit short. So after picking off a first down, Texas's drive stalls. No score in Ames, Iowa. Tremendously charismatic and affable Mac Brown, who knows these parts well. From 79 to 81, he coached under Donnie Duncan, who's now an associate commissioner of the Big 12 Conference here in Ames. 80 and 81, he was the offensive coordinator. They had success. They've had only 4 seasons since 1980 with a plus 500 record or 500, and Mac Brown was here for 2 of them.
He knows all about the wind tunnel.
Well, last year, Texas and Iowa State met for the first time since 1979, and it was the Ricky Williams show. He ran for a school record 350 yards, got in the end zone 5 times. Texas rolled 54-33. Williams, as you know, went on to capture the Heisman Trophy and become the all-time NCAA leader in touchdowns and rushing yards. Texas will have the football at the 37-yard line. They've never played a football game in the state of Iowa before. It's the 3rd meeting ever between the Cyclones and Longhorns. Applewhite again to throw. And good defense on the long outcut by Cavill. Closing quickly was Atif Austin. Well done.
Well, right now, Mac Brown's got to be a little bit concerned about his offense, because he's not taking advantage of the field position that has been given to him by the wind. What they wanted to do defensively, They've shown no letdown. Offensively questionable. They have shut down Darren Davis's cutback with the defensive tackles. They haven't been balanced yet offensively. That's been their problem so far early as their offense.
They give to Hodges Mitchell nowhere to run. Penetration. Initially in the backfield was Robert Brannon. Dustin Avey, number 7, came up from his free safety spot to finish off Mitchell. This Iowa State defense is vastly improved over the team that Texas saw a year ago when they hung 54 points on it.
Well, the first thing that Iowa State's doing this year that they didn't do all the time last year, John Skladany, the defensive coordinator, is saying that they're fitting into their gaps a lot better. There's no assignment errors and gap control responsibilities.
3rd down and 8. The Longhorns need the 47. Iowa State shows blitz. They bring 5. Man open, and it's too tall. They were trying to get the football to Jeremy Jones. And Texas goes 3 and out. Ryan Slough had the coverage.
Bear in mind, Major Applewhite has never thrown for less than 200 yards in his 18 games as a quarterback for Texas. Off to a slow start in the first half last week against Nebraska. Off to a slow start in the first half so far this week against Iowa State as well.
Ryan Long will punt. J.J. Moses is camped at his own 20-yard line. Good effort by Long. Moses. Great man. Trying to get to the wall. Tripped up at the 30-yard line. A punt of 47. A return of 16.
Jeff Waters blew it up.
Not a contact sport. Basketball is a contact sport. Football is a collision sport. Ooh. Listen to this. Jeff Waters erased Terrell Dillon from the screen.
And Waters starting safety. But he's on the punt return team. A lot of starters. You'll find a lot of starters on special teams. And Dillon on the sideline there, making sure he's got all his bearings.
Haywood and Davis in the backfield. Rosenfels late throw, and it was closest to DeAndre Lewis. Those 2 tackles just moved the pocket right into his face.
They just bull rush you backwards, and they get you on skates, and there's nothing you can do about it. Here's what Iowa State wants to get done today. Swarmy, bomby. They want to make sure that they get him to the ground. He's going to make some catches, but get him to the ground. Play keep away, a little time of possession, control the clock, and keep the Texas explosive offense on the sideline. Texas is +8. They're -4. Iowa State is in the turnover department. They have to win that battle today. They can't be negative in turnovers.
2nd and 10 for the Cyclones. Davis. Boy, there's nowhere to run. They're not moving those 2 defensive tackles, Casey Hampton and Sean Rogers, at all.
Well, and what you have to do there is not bang your head up against the wall. Get on the edge. Run the option. Maybe pitch, toss a little bit. Make those big defensive tackles chase. Make them tired. If you run right at them, that's playing into their strength, into their game. Make them run inside out. Make them run to the sideline. Try to fatigue them a little bit because they're not knocking them off the line of scrimmage for sure.
Trips to the near side on 3rd and a dozen. They need the 41. Movement. Rosenfels deep shot and was nearly caught by Anthony. The coverage, Greg Brown, and he turned around to find the football and was already past him, but it'll be 4th down. Iowa State still without a 1st down.
Well, watch the blitz pickup once again by number 28, Double D. Boom. Picks up the blitzer, giving Rosenfels an opportunity to slide up in the pocket. Pretty good coverage by Brown, who was a backup strong safety. Now he's the starting free safety. He plays the middle third. He plays the deep portion of the field very, very intelligently.
I guess he did see the football. Initially, it looked like he didn't. He got his hand around, made the play. Pressure coming, and Gomez to Garcia. Garcia a little more room this time. Ducks down at the 46-yard line. Well, not only Iowa State, but Texas is much improved on the defensive side of the ball. Go back to 1997. The Longhorns were 96th in the country in allowing points against the run. They were just awful. Last year, great improvement to 45, Dave.
And then this year, bingo. It's unbelievable. Look, they're in the top 20 in all of those categories. Well, in the top 25 in all the categories. I'll tell you what, Tom Stoner's a magician, isn't he? That's just an amazing graphic right there. It's like watching magic.
Well, that's what happens when you spend 48 straight hours in the truck, as Tom Stoner, our graphics guy, does. And Texas feels like they drew Iowa State offside, so Major Applewhite put his knee down and says, I'll take a free 5.
Yeah, and that's just the old hard count, voice inflection.
Dead ball. Offside with contact by the prior to the snap. 5 yards.
Now, obviously, Major Applewhite feels that Iowa State's up in the bit. So he's telling the offensive line, hold your water, I'm going to go on a hard count instead of a rhythmic count. Hut, hut, hut. He's up there giving it the hut, hut. That hard count, yanking him offside.
3 penalties in the early going for Iowa State. Underneath throw, Ricky Brown. And he'll have a first down at the 39-yard line. Dave Brcka responsible for the tackle. Applewhite is so calm and composed in that pocket.
Yeah, you look at Major Applewhite, one of his nicknames is Opie. He looks like your morning paper boy. But, you know, he's very cool, calm, and collected in that pocket. And he's a smart guy. He's saying, you know, I'm having difficulty completing the football. I'm going to check down. I'm going to get my feet on the ground. I'm going to make some passes that I can complete, start moving the football, and settle down.
The only difference is, unlike your morning paper boy, he can throw the paper right through your front window.
Yeah, he's lethal.
Not much doing on that carry for Hodges Mitchell, and against the run, Iowa State has been stout.
Well, they really have, and it's smart on their part. They're moving a little bit. You know, when you're facing 327-pound guys, you don't two-gap. Coach John Skladany, the defensive coordinator, said, I'm going to move a little bit, make those big fellas move their feet, see if they can stay with us. They're separating from blocks well and making plays.
Coming, Applewhite, 3-step drop, slant to Cavill, and he should have enough for a first down. That was a check-off. Jeff Waters had the coverage. Applewhite will always put you in the right play, won't he?
He certainly will, and that's a new single-season record right there. Kwame Cavill with his 59th reception in the slot. Kwame Cavill runs the slant. He gets inside of Waters. That's the record setter for a single season right there. He's going to shatter it. 59 catches already. Big body. Will catch the football for you.
Wayne McGarity had the old record, 58 last year. He's now a member of the Dallas Cowboys. Applewhite to Cavill again. This is a thing
that's late. That's late. That's going to cost him.
Yep, that'll cost him half the distance.
That was not a smart move whatsoever by Austin. You got to know where you are on the football field. Well out of bounds. And Dustin Avey leaving the field with a shoulder problem. That left arm's hanging. It could be anything. Could be shoulder, could be elbow, could be wrist. That left side's hurting.
Dead ball. Personal foul. After the player was out of bounds. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
Let's take a look at Kwame Cavill. Just runs a simple out pattern. Catches the football. Now he's a running back. Makes the first miss. Avey. And Avey gets hurt when he hits the ground. Avey must hit the ground with his elbow right there, and I think he may have separated his shoulder possibly. When he hits the ground with his elbow, 1-point landing, I think it might have messed his shoulder up.
First and goal, just inside the 10-yard line. Applewhite, end zone shot, broken up. Trying to get it to Cavill. Adam Runk was in the neighborhood.
Kwame Cavill is a big body like we talked about at 6'2", 205. He's very tough to reroute. Once he gets off the line of scrimmage, to get that inside position, not led quite enough by Major Applewhite. Pretty good job defensively, though. Getting your hands, Scott Holm did a good job of getting hands on Kwame, matching up with 6'2", 205 a little bit.
Give it to Mitchell. He skates back. Look at this run. Hodges Mitchell to the one. It looked like he was going to lose a couple of yards.
You know, the coaches told Hodges Mitchell, start using your eyes. Here's a great example of him using his eyes. Nothing there. Cuts it back. Good vision. Stays after it. Everybody sustains their blocks with the offensive line. Gives him a cutback lane, and he eventually finds it.
3rd and goal at the 1. The touchdown man in the game, Chris Robertson. Fumble. Applewhite falls on it at the 3-yard line, and a flag also down on both sides of the field.
I don't know if Iowa State lined up in the neutral zone or not. If Texas had jumped, they would have blown the play dead.
Offside. Defense. Half the distance to the goal. Still 3rd down.
Here's what you'll see. Watch the interior of the line. Hard count again by Major Applewhite. Oh, everybody lurches forward. They're in the neutral zone. The ball is snapped. Now, might have snapped the ball a little early to make sure they were still in the neutral zone. That's why Applewhite didn't handle it.
Robertson, the man they want to get the football to, and he'll scoot into the end zone. They'll decline the penalty, assuming that it's on Iowa State. Robertson, his 14th touch this year, and his 8th touchdown, 7 rushing.
Well, I think Iowa State
on the defense, decline, Texas touchdown.
I think what the Iowa State defensive coaches need to do is put cotton balls in the defensive lineman's ears, because you can't listen to the quarterback. You just watch the football and block everything else out. If you can't block it out, you got to mute their ears somehow. Brcka limping off the field, not under his own power.
And I'll tell you what, that was costly, Dave, because on the fumbled snap, they lost a couple of yards, and you would figure that Texas would have to go for 3 and not 6.
Well, I think what happened, though, is a heads-up center right there, knowing that when you get somebody in the neutral zone, snap the football. Matt Anderson did that. It might have been a little early to Major Applewhite, and that's why he didn't secure it, because he knew he had them offside in the neutral zone. But still, that's a point well taken, that you have to be disciplined and stay onside.
Stockton to attempt the extra point. Mr. Automatic pokes it through, and Texas breaks our scoring drought, 7-0 with 3:06 to go in the first quarter.
Well, Mac Brown wanted to take advantage of the win. He valued the win more than the football. Won the toss, deferred, ended up taking the win, getting the wind at his back, and there's offside once again by Iowa State. It doesn't phase Texas. They still get good surge at the offensive line and score the touchdown. Little motion, Iowa State jumps, lead block is effective enough, easy touchdown for the Longhorns.
Chris Robertson, the sophomore from Denison, Texas.
That's what, 8 touchdowns on 14 touches, right?
Yep, 8 on 14 touches. His father played at Grambling, also played with the Atlanta Falcons. Look at the injuries that Iowa State has suffered. Breon Ainsley starting cornerback. Jamarcus Powers is starting cornerback. Damian Gross is one of the best wideouts in the Big 12 Conference, gone for the year with a broken arm. Marcel Howard's out with concussion syndrome. Ainsley and Powers, they're done for the year as well. Those are 4 players you're really counting on.
And now you have Dustin Avey leaving the field. Looks like with a shoulder problem. I did that before. I landed on my elbow trying to make a tackle after an interception, separated my shoulder. I'm not sure that's what Dustin Avey did, but it looked like a shoulder problem. And now Brcka leaves. Now, you can't afford all these injuries.
J.J. Moses, he'll take it out 3 yards deep. And Moses breaks it. Oh, look out. On the beat, it's Stockton. And Stockton makes the play. All the work that Chris Stockton does in the weight room. He's not like one of those kickers that avoids the weight room. He's one of the strongest guys on the team, pound for pound, a pretty good athlete. It pays off.
He's like Phil Dawson. Dawson was the same way for Texas. He used to chart how many tackles he made after kickoff. Now, Moses does a great job of breaking tackles. Now all he's got to beat is the kicker. They will dog him in the film room that the kicker took him down one-on-one in the open field. But that's a pretty nice effort right there by Stockton. Yeah. Not bashful of contact.
No, he broke down nicely, and he's one of the quickest guys you'll see coming at him, and he brought down J.J. Moses. So the Cyclones from the 37-yard line trailing 7-zip. Here's a QB draw. And the tackle made almost immediately. D.D. Lewis was there, number 4. Also, Corey Redding, the prize true freshman. Buick scoring drive, 8 plays, 54 yards. Robertson takes it across. Kwame Cavill with a couple of catches.
he's going to shatter the prior school record set last year by McGarity, 58 receptions. He's already passed that. He may, who knows what he's going to end up with, depending on bowl activity.
Ennis Haywood alone in the backfield on second and about 9.5. Rosenfels slant. Anthony catches it, but pays for it almost immediately by Greg Brown, and we check in with Jim Knox. Jim.
Okay, Drew, directly behind me, Dustin Avey has his shoulder pads off. They're going to put some ice on his left shoulder. They're checking it out. Right now, he's in a great deal of pain. Right now, the early diagnosis, a sprained left shoulder. They're going to further check it out, and we'll get a further update on that a little bit later. Drew?
Dave, I think you were right. The way he was letting it hang there, it looked like there had to be some sort of separation.
I've been there. I did the exact same thing. Landed on my elbow, and it just goes right up to your shoulder, and where your collarbone connects, and you get that little separation.
3rd and 4. Rosenfels, deep shot, and it's caught by Haywood. But the question is, will it count? Because he was out of bounds at one point. What a catch. Rosenfels took a lick.
Well, Joe Walker was in coverage, and Joe Walker got his hand on the football, but great concentration to stay with it. And Rosenfels shows some courage in the pocket. Little play action fake. Absolutely gets blown up by Humphrey. I mean, Rosenfels gets crushed, but he throws the football accurately. Now he was out of bounds before reception of the football. Man, I'll tell you what. Haywood's out of bounds. Walker's in coverage, and he's the first one to... Actually, Walker touches the ball first. That's why he can come back into play and in bounds and make a play on it. He can't touch it first. Walker deflected it.
Good call by the official. First down for Iowa State. A 34-yard gain. And on the option, Casey Hampton drags Sage Rosenfels to the ground.
Take a look down the sideline. The ball's in the air. Out of bounds, definitely. You can see now he's worked his way back in. Walker gets his hand in it first, and the ball's knocked airborne. Haywood stays with it and makes the play.
That was close.
Now, did he reestablish field position coming back inbounds before he made a play on the ball? Did he touch the ball first? All that's factored in. The official ruled that one or the other happened. The defender either touched it first or he got his position back in the field of play before touching the ball.
And you can't go out on your own volition.
Right.
Here's a screen set up, and they just get there so quick. Rosenfels couldn't even get the screen going on the backside. This was Sean Rogers coming down the middle. The other defensive tackle.
Maybe the most athletic, second best athlete on the football team defensively. A whip right there. When you run a screen pass, you have to impede the charge of the down lineman for 1,001, 1,002, release and go. That wasn't even 1,001. Sean Rogers came after the quarterback big time. Look at that, tackles for loss. 16 tackles for loss by a defensive lineman. He is El Lodo.
And the bad news for the rest of the Big 12, both Hampton and Rogers just juniors.
They're back.
You bet. 3rd and 12. They need the 11-yard line. And right now the play clock's at 0. And now Rosenfels calls timeout.
Rosenfels pointing to the clock saying, Mr. Official, what's up with the play clock here? Dan McCartney's doing the same thing. What's going on here?
Now, Sage is a bright guy. He might have called the timeout to explain that to the official because it was at 0. We were looking at it, Dave, for about 5 seconds.
Yeah, in Texas, defensively, a couple of players stood up out of their three-point stance saying, there's no time left in the clock.
The whistle is blown to start the clock. 25-second clock. No team charged out.
So that was a good play by Sage. A Sage move by Sage. Very wise.
And he kind of gets a free timeout because he was over with Mr. McCartney.
Sure.
By the way, nice intended punt.
Yes, Tim was working with me last night on that. He tried to rehearse it and fit it in at the right possible moment.
Brilliantly done. Late stages, quarter number 1. The Cyclones trailing 7-0 to Texas. Rosenfels, and here's a flag coming in opposite pages. Chris Anthony and Sage Rosenfels, and a late flag thrown. The coverage by Lee Jackson, the strong safety.
illegal contact against Texas. Mac Brown is almost amused by it, and not really. I mean, he just can't believe it.
Pass interference on the defense. Spot foul, 1st and 10.
Pass interference on Iowa State, or on Texas, giving Iowa State the penalty yardage and the first down. So they find themselves in the red zone. Texas has been decent in the red zone defensively. This is the 22nd time the opposition has been there. The first 21 times they've only given up 6 touchdowns.
This is a place where Iowa State needs to capitalize, obviously. They give it to Haywood on the cutback. Best run of the day for Iowa State. Ennis Haywood got about 9. Lee Jackson brought him down. That's one of the reasons they're so excited about their prospects, even when Darren Davis graduates.
Yeah, this kid can get it done. He's a very, very effective running back.
His running back coach, Tony Alford, says he's going to be terrific. He, like Davis, one of the toughest guys on the team. First quarter history, 7-0 Longhorns. Dan McCarney's club 4-3. They need 2 wins in their final 4 games to become bowl eligible. It has been 21 years since Iowa State has gone to a bowl game.
Hey, Drew, right here, 2nd and short. Get Rosenfels out of pocket. Give him a run-pass option. It's a throwaway down.
They're going to give it to Haywood, and he got maybe to the line of scrimmage.
Guess who?
Yep, Casey Hampton again defeated the block, this time of Ryan Gerke.
Tell you what, these 2 defensive tackles are like fire hydrants that have unbelievable mobility. They're short, but very, very squatty and quick. You can't get under their pad level. And instead of facing a first down on that opportunity, now they face 3rd and lost yards. 3rd and still short. But that 2nd and short for no fruit at all.
Haywood's still in there, not Darren Davis. 2 tight ends. The red zone production has not been great for Iowa State. They give it to Haywood, and I don't know, and a flag comes in, and that was thrown by the umpire, and generally when the umpire throws a flag, it's holding. Casey Hampton again at the bottom of the pile.
Let's see if it's holding, or let's see if it's a face mask that he saw late. And it is. It's a face mask that he saw late. So that's going to give him a little extra yardage. It'll probably be of the 5-yard variety, but it's going to be half the distance to the goal on top of the first down yardage that were generated.
So a break again for Iowa State. 2 penalties have helped them on this drive.
I don't think I'd mess with the big defensive tackles inside, though. I'd attack the edges a little bit. Make the big down lineman run. Pursue, get tired.
Yeah, they haven't made any yardage up front. In fact, they've gone backwards more often than not. Here's the call.
Face mask on the defense. Half the distance from the previous spot. First down.
Our sleep-in first quarter numbers. Total yards, pretty close.
Yeah, and nobody's really run the ball effectively yet. Penalty yards were a factor in the first quarter.
Well, they'll try to run wide. Haywood trying to get to the corner. Haywood will sneak in. Did he hold on to the football? Yes, touchdown. He evidently crossed the plane. Touchdown, Iowa State.
State was not getting much done between the tackles. The ball was on the left hash mark, and they ran wide to the right side. And Hayward got the ball just inside the pylon before he lost control of it. And it doesn't matter if you fumble it out of bounds after you've broken the plane of the end zone inside the pylon.
Mike McKnight on to try to tie it up.
It was close then. Let's take another look at that play.
And he does so. 7-7 football game with 14:06 to go in the second quarter. Ennis Haywood from a couple of yards away knocks up the football game. 7-7. Ennis Haywood credited with a touchdown, but he scored, Dave.
Well, that's why I wanted to take another look at this thing. It was close to the pylon. Watch Brooks, number 5, come in his run support at the end here. Hayward bounces it to the outside. Here comes Brooks. Let's see where let's boom. helmet on the football. The ball's out before he does not have possession before crossing the goal line. Brooks knocks the ball airborne, puts the shoulder pad and helmet right on it. He has not crossed the goal line. That should not be a touchdown, folks. He should be second and goal at the half-yard line. Horn does a decent job on Humphrey. Humphrey separates, stretches him outside. Here comes Brooks. Boom. Ball out of there. As we saw in the goal line shot, he had not crossed the goal line. The point of the goal line should be second and goal from the half-yard line, not a touchdown.
Jeremy Jones, Montrell Flowers back to field the kick of Carl Gomez. This is Jones from the 2. And he runs it out to the 24-yard line.
Now, once again, you have to cross the plane of the goal line in possession of the football. Does he cross in possession of the football? Brooks on Haywood. No. Ball's out. No cross the goal line there. That's a good defensive play. The ball's fumbled out of bounds. It should be at the half-yard line.
But Iowa State will take it. Our Buick scoring drive, 9 plays, 63 yards. A pass interference penalty helped out their cause. But the Cyclones showing the Longhorns why they have got the attention of the rest of this conference. They are a much improved football team. Applewhite delay, and Mitchell blown up in the backfield. Chris Whitaker, the true freshman from East St. Louis, Illinois. Well, Mac Brown knew all week that Iowa State would be a handful, and he spent a good part of the week selling his team on that.
Unless the coaches started talking about Iowa State, nobody else in the Austin area would talk about Iowa State till about Wednesday, and that was going to be too late. So we even put up a little sign in the dressing room that said 0001, like a scoreboard, don't wait, to our kids on Monday. And then we got a release from the Weather Bureau that said that cyclones are very dangerous and can be deadly. Don't wait.
Applewhite complete to the 31-yard line. He has Mike Jones, his tight end. He was the difference maker a week ago against Nebraska. Got in the end zone to produce a 24-20 lead, and that was the final score. Jones is still down on the field.
Mac Brown did know that he was going to be in for a battle here. Iowa State has only given up 17 points a game at home. They've been very, very tough defensively. Mac Brown was aware of that. Let's take a look from the end zone. Now, the other factor is if Hayward fumbles this ball and it goes through the end zone instead of out of bounds, it's a touchback. Where's the ball go? That's in the field of play. Boy, that should be a touchback. Not only second and goal from the half-yard line. When he lost the ball, he was in the field of play. The ball rolled inside the pylon out of bounds before it landed. That should be touchback, no score, Texas football. If you fumble the football into and through the end zone, it's a touchback. He fumbled it in the field of play. He was not out of bounds at the half-yard line. The ball went inside of the pylon before landing out of bounds, just like it would be a touchdown. That should be a touchback. Big play right there.
A big play here, 3rd and 4. Blitz coming. They come with 6. Applewhite nearly intercepted. Waters was right there. Also, Eric Wyford broke on the football, and Texas will have to punt.
Uncharacteristic of Major Applewhite to throw into double coverage. Bracket coverage on his tight end, Chris Smith. Watch number 87 in the white come across in a crossing pattern. Bracket coverage. And Wyford almost is the beneficiary. He saw golden goalpost there, but you have to catch the ball first.
Passes without throwing a pick. He nearly threw one right there. Moses from the 32. Oh boy, he's tough to bring down. 36 yards on the punt. 5 on one of the fanciest 5-yard returns you'll ever see.